Hi guys, welcome back to 234 in La Casa. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And so today we're going to be making 5 cheese penne pasta. It's got chicken, broccoli. It is really, really good. So I'm looking forward to showing you all the ingredients for this fantastic 5 cheese penne pasta. See you in a second. Okay, so you can use ground beef or chicken as your protein for this particular recipe. So for those of you all that are using chicken breast, like if you're using rotisserie chicken, then you can skip this. If you're using ground beef, you can skip this step. But for those of you all that are using chicken breast, you're gonna want to, make sure you cook your chicken breast, and I'm gonna do mine on the stove. A lot of times I'll bake my chicken because it comes out really moist, but this method too comes out moist on the stove. So you're gonna wash your chicken breast, then you're gonna season with salt and pepper, put some chicken base in your pot and some water, and dice up onion, green bell pepper, and celery. And you're just gonna allow this to cook. You're gonna bring it to a boil and then put it on, bring it to a boil, and then turn it down on low, like a medium low heat setting, to boil and cook for about an hour, hour and a half. That's gonna tenderize your chicken and all that kind of stuff, and put some olive oil in there too. The chicken base does have some fat content in it, but I always add a little bit of olive oil to it, or you can add butter to it if you would like as well, just to help tenderize your protein, meaning your chicken breast, okay? And then there's a close-up of the pot just so you can see what all is in there. Just want to make sure you all can see, okay? And I just have 2 chicken breasts in here, so this is about a pound, a little over a pound of boneless, skinless chicken breast. So the chicken is ready, and we're gonna take the chicken out of the pot here. You're gonna reserve, if you do it this way, you're gonna reserve the chicken broth in the pot to use in the 4 or 5 cheese pasta dish that we're gonna be doing, okay? But if you didn't do it this way and you're using ground beef, or you're using like rotisserie chicken, then you're gonna use chicken broth, like a 32-ounce container of chicken broth for this process with this dish, okay? So you're gonna wanna make sure that you have an oven-safe dish that you can transfer, if you're doing it the way I'm doing it, that you can transfer your chicken into and shred it up and all that stuff. If you have ground beef, or if you have rotisserie chicken that you already have shredded, you'll just wanna make sure you cook your ground beef in your oven-safe container, because then you're gonna be adding celery and onions and all that kind of stuff to it, okay? Okay guys, so I just kind of want to show you a little bit of this. This chicken is just, see how tender it is? It's just falling apart. So your, shredding process for your chicken shouldn't take you very long at all if you do it this way. It's very tender, very good. Okay guys, so we've got this chicken shredded and everything. Like I said, if you decide to use ground beef, you're gonna saute your onion, bell pepper, and celery in some butter or olive oil, get that stuff softened, and then add your protein to it. I'm gonna add some ground black pepper to the chicken that's been shredded, and some pink Himalayan sea salt. If you do your chicken the way that I did, boiling it and shredding it in the oven safe dish, just make sure that you add some broth to it as well as you shred it, so that your chicken doesn't get dried out during that process of breaking it apart or whatever. I'm gonna take the bell pepper out. My kids don't like bell pepper. Okay, and so like I said, make sure you reserve that chicken broth that you boiled the chicken in, because we're gonna be using that for this dish. All right, so here's the basil I'm gonna be using, okay? And this recipe calls for about 1/3 of a cup of basil. I'm probably not gonna use that much. And this is about 1/4 of a cup of granulated garlic. Okay, and then here are the parsley flakes. And you just use as much parsley as you want to. I'm gonna use about the same amount that I used of the basil. And then of course I'm gonna use a little bit of Tony's. Okay, so I've got that chicken broth strained. Okay, and if you do it this way, then you can pick out, you know, if you want to use your, you know, onion or what have you, you can, you know, get your onion out of there and leave what you don't want or what have you. And so I have this chicken and the broth and everything on medium heat. And I did go ahead and add just a little bit more basil. So you want to add about 1/8 of a cup to 1/4 of a cup of basil. If you like more basil than that, you know, if you're really a basil person, you can add more. We're going to go ahead and add our broccoli. I'm using fresh broccoli that I already, you know, the crown part of the broccoli, I've got it cut very, very small. Okay, and I rinsed the broccoli off, and then I also poured just a little bit of boiling hot water. I used that on there as well, just to go ahead and get them started cooking just a little. It was almost like a slight blanching a little bit, but not so much. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that broccoli added. And you see how small that is, they are. That way they'll be nice and soft, because the oven process is not gonna be long at all. It's just gonna be on broil. So you wanna make sure that your broccoli pieces are small. And then this is the broccoli that I used. It's fresh, organic broccoli. I'm gonna use penne pasta for mine. And I'm just gonna use half of this 16-ounce box. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this up. And you wanna put your broccoli on there first and then your pasta on top, okay? I'm gonna add just a little bit more pasta. I'm gonna put a little bit of salt on the pasta. Just thought about that. And so this is pink Himalayan sea salt. Okay. And now I'm gonna go ahead and stir this in, get this turned on high, and stir this just a little bit. Okay. Then I'm gonna add just a little bit more pasta. It smells so good. And I'm gonna add just a little bit of sugar. I always add just a little bit of sugar to everything. That's what my mom told me my grandmother always did too. All right, y'all. Now I'm gonna cover this for about 10 minutes. It's coming to a boil, so I'm gonna go ahead and cover it and then turn it down some and let it cook for about 10 minutes. Okay, so it's been 10 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this off. Okay. And you'll notice your pasta is gonna be at an al dente, okay? It smells really good. I'm gonna add some butter to this. And that's about 2 tablespoons of butter, maybe a tablespoon and a half. And then I'm gonna add some room temperature cream cheese. And I'm using Philadelphia. And that's probably gonna be like, I'm probably gonna add like 1/8 of a cup of cream cheese to this. And then we're gonna add some cheese. So I've got some Colby Jack that I freshly shredded, and you're not gonna wanna use it all because you're gonna reserve some of this cheese for the top of this. And then this is freshly grated Parmesan. And then we've got mozzarella here. Then we're gonna add some Velveeta, and my Velveeta is at room temperature. And you'll wanna have your Velveeta at room temperature, it just melts better. Okay, and then I'm gonna put the lid on this just so it can kind of sit for just a second. I think I'm gonna add just a little bit more Velveeta. And then we're going to toast some breadcrumbs over here. The breadcrumbs that we're gonna be using are gonna go on top of this dish, okay? So you're gonna need to get yourself some butter to place in the skillet. I'm gonna be using Italian seasoned breadcrumbs. And we're gonna add about 2 tablespoons of butter to the skillet. It's probably just a little under 2 tablespoons. While that butter is melting, I'm gonna go ahead and check on this. And I'm gonna go ahead and stir. I don't want it to sit too long without getting that cheese underneath it, so the cheese can really get to melting and making a cheese sauce. Because you don't want your cheese, you know, like your fresh grated cheese, to sit there and start clumping together and just make a big glob of cheese. You want to make sure that you can get it evenly distributed throughout this pasta and broccoli and everything. So just make sure when you're stirring it and spooning through, just make sure that you notice, you know, make sure there are no cheese clumps or anything. If there are, you can get a fork and kind of fork and separate that stuff, or a knife. It's just whatever's easier. And separate those clumps of cheese, meaning the grated cheese. Your Velveeta is gonna be in a little block form. It'll eventually start melting, and we're gonna do one more spoon through of this anyway, before putting it in the oven, okay? Okay, so it looks like our butter is melted, and I'm gonna go ahead and turn this up just a little bit and get these Italian breadcrumbs added. I don't really have that many breadcrumbs. I thought I had more than this. So I'm just gonna add in here everything that I have, which isn't much, doesn't look like, but and I'm not gonna run to the store either. I'm just gonna use what I have. But you can also use Ritz crackers on top, which are always, I love Ritz crackers on top of certain chicken casseroles. It tastes so good. But I do prefer the Italian breadcrumbs for this particular dish. So that's all that I have. And we're just gonna toast these real quick. Get them, you know, brown them and everything. And they're gonna go on top of the pasta dish before we put it in the oven. Okay, so the breadcrumbs are done. I'm just spooning through, and you can see the Velveeta has already started to melt. Before I put this in the oven, you make sure you have your oven on broil, okay? Because we're just gonna slip it in there for 2 to 3 minutes. So let it preheat to a broil, and then I'm gonna go ahead and taste this broth just before placing it in the oven to see if it needs any additional seasonings or anything. Let's see. It needs nothing. This is excellent. It is excellent. And I did go ahead while I was browning the breadcrumbs, turn my stove on like medium low or more towards low, just to make sure that cheese was melted, even though I had the lid on there. So now we're gonna go ahead and add the rest of our cheeses on top. So you got your, you know, your mozzarella and your Parmesan and Colby Jack, if that's what you choose to use. You can use whatever mix of cheese that you like. I have a tendency to like more of a mozzarella on top. Cheddar cheese, to me, it doesn't melt well on top. So it's kind of clumpy, so I tend not to put cheddars and stuff like that on top. Just make sure your cheeses are evenly distributed on top the way that you want them to be. There's no perfect way, or there's no stress, no pressure. This is very easy. You know, no pressure or stress or anything. Just however you want your cheese on there. And then we're gonna add our breadcrumbs. And you get your breadcrumbs or Ritz crackers or what have you on there the best way that you can. There's no, like I said, just don't stress, just really easy. You know, everything is just real simple, real easy. I got the breadcrumbs, and I'm gonna go ahead and add some parsley too on top. And I'm gonna add a little bit, some black pepper on top too, okay? The black pepper you do not have to do if you don't want to. It's left up to you. Okay, all right, so we're gonna place this in the oven under the broiler for about 2 to 3 minutes, and just be sure not to let it burn, okay? Because it's gonna be under that broiler. Okay, guys, I was just about to wipe my stove off and realize it's been in the oven for 2 to 3 minutes. I didn't want it to burn, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull it out so you all can see it. And get a chance to wipe my stove off, but there it is. So I'm gonna let this cool for just a couple minutes, or probably about 10 minutes, and I'll bring you all back and do a taste test. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get some of this casserole. It's really smells good. So there it is. It's just a small bowl. I'm not gonna eat a whole lot of it. Yep. This is excellent. This is excellent for middle of the week dinner when you don't have a whole lot of time. It's it's like a one pot meal. Lots of cheese. The seasoning is spectacular. Pasta is tender. Pasta's not overcooked. And the broccoli is very tender as well, okay? And like I said, I would suggest, if you can, using fresh broccoli. Yep, very good. All right, guys. Well, I'll see you all next time here at 234 in La Casa. And don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I've been getting some emails from viewers that, talk about, like, when they're cooking and all that kind of stuff. And how they just get kind of overwhelmed and stressed. And so, you just want to just be easy with yourself. Just be easy. And just say to yourself, in every way, every day, I just keep getting better and better and better. And I teach my children to say that too. Every day, in every way, I just keep getting better and better and better. I can't remember who taught that, but so when you're in those moments, breathe really deeply and just repeat that to yourself. And you may not believe it in that moment, but the more that you say that to yourself, and the more that you're trying to do what you know to be right, meaning like what your values are and what you stand for, and what your morals are and all that kind of stuff, as long as you keep on being in alignment with that, when you're saying, I keep getting better and better and better, and every day, every way, I just keep getting better and better and better, the more it will begin to become an outer reality. It takes it a minute, when you're changing the way that you think, or changing, it's gonna take a minute for it to become a 3D reality. But you just have to know inside that you are changing and you are getting better. You're not perfect. And don't let anybody, try to come along and, get you off of your path. Try not to, because I know it's hard. Sometimes people can just do things and you react or whatever. But yeah, and every day and every way, I just keep getting better and better and better. Okay. And another thing too, I was talking to my daughter about this weekend, which is, if you really think about it, I'm going to try to be really quick. If you really think about it, for you to believe in something good, that something good is coming to you, you have to believe in the unseen. The same way that if you're believing that something bad is coming to you, you're afraid and all this, you're believing in the unseen. So why is it that we would choose as human beings to continue to believe? Because both require that you believe in something you can't see. Believing that something good is coming and believing that something bad. So why do we always run to what's bad, the negative, being afraid and all of that? It's a choice we're making. And we're programmed too from the news and all this kind of stuff. Everything's so negative and all the gossip and all of that. And so you have to make a conscious choice to remove yourself, not participate in God. And there's been a number, like some of my family, I mean, I'll be like, I don't want to hear about anybody. If you're not coming to me talking about ideas and creativity and all that, I don't want to hear it. Like, I'm not interested in what, and because it could be a lie, and I want to get to know people for myself. I know how I feel when I'm around this person, and I know whether or not they fit in my life or not, right? But anyway, yeah, I was talking to her this, so in every day and every way my life keeps getting better and better and better. That's believing in having faith that good things are coming, that you are improving. You can't see it right now, but it's coming. Don't run over to the fear. You can't see that either. Don't run to that. Let that go and just choose, because it's a choice. Choose to believe and have faith that the good is on its way. As long as you are living in alignment with your morals, your good things, you're trying to be in alignment with those things. You're not sending anybody any ill will. You're not trying to dig ditches for somebody. You're not trying to, planning out and plotting out how you're going to get rid of somebody. I'm talking about people that are trying to live clean, that want to live clean. And I'm not talking about clean of drugs. I'm talking about clean lives, where all they want is the best for everyone, because this is an abundant universe. There's enough for it to go around everybody. Look at all the grass out there. Look at the trees. Look at the leaves. There's plenty of those. So why wouldn't there be plenty of opportunities? So instead of acting as though, and operating from lack and acting as though I've got to tear somebody else down so that I can get ahead, cheerlead for them, encourage them, because when you do that, you're cheerleading for yourself too. Stop being mean to people and hateful and wishing them ill will and all of that, because that's what you're going to bring to yourself. Anyway, guys, so when you're cooking, just breathe. Try your best to be in a great mood, and just don't take it seriously. If it burns, oh well. I did tell my daughter that the other day, her toast burned. I was like, that's happened to me too. Just put some more in. Don't let that discourage you, okay? So, all right, I'll see y'all next time at 234 in La Casa. I love you all very much and have a beautiful day. See y'all later.